Ryan here with Prudential Pest Solutions, and we are looking at a bald-faced hornet's nest on the eave of a home in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, which is in Chester County in southeastern Pennsylvania. And this client was referred to us, I should say, by the Froio family, and the Froio family owns a very successful lawn and landscaping business in Westchester, and the Froio's mother went to school with this client. So our client reached out and said, hey, I have a hornet's nest. Who do I call? And the Froios recommended us. So it's always great to hear great stories of how our clients and our customers find us. So once we got the ladder up, I got the PTPI. I'm all suited up in my bee suit, and I inject directly into the opening. Now, this nest was not a very large nest, but it was kind of neat because it was centered directly on the eave, and it was mounted right onto the soffit and the back end of the siding there. So when we inject that PTPI directly into the opening there, it works so quickly. It just starts killing off the whole nest almost immediately, and we can see them kind of dropping out of there. And then just to make sure, I'll always kind of puncture into the back of the nest with my applicator nozzle there just to ensure that we have full coverage on the inside. And what's great about PTPI is not only does it permeate the entire nest, but it doesn't have any residual. And some of those bugs we see crawling on the siding there, those are actually silverfish that were most likely in the attic in the soffit area there. And that PTPI is getting a little bit into the soffit, and it's messing them up a little bit, so it's forcing them out. So we can see it crawling on the fascia board there. So at my scraper, we're just going to scrape off from underneath the soffit and the siding. And we can see the paper itself came off, but the comb with the brood and the larva remained intact, so I just ripped that off. And then we're just going to scrape and brush and just make sure we have all the little bits of the paper nest out of there. Just try to clean it up a bit. And it just seems we can get all the big paper, but you can never get, there's always like a kind of like a ring, and you can always tell a house that had a bald-faced hornet's nest on it by the telltale ring there, and we can see it on the top part of the soffit, of the siding, which just kind of moved. Oh, and the piece of siding just dropped off, that final little corner. And if you don't know how siding goes on, it goes from the bottom up. So this little corner here, we're just going to slide it right back into the channel, lock it in place there, and maybe securely lock it in place. Brush everything off, and now our nest is removed. So whenever we treat and remove a hornet's nest like this, there's always going to be hornets that are flying around the outside, and these were hornets that had already been out of the nest, gathering resources to bring back. And they can't remake the nest, they can't establish a new nest, but they can be quite a nuisance if they're just flying around up there. So after we do a treatment like this, I have a gas-powered mist blower that I'll put some bifenthrin product in there and apply it to the eaves and the soffit. Now that she also had some spotted lanternfly, which is a invasive insect that we are having issues with in southeastern Pennsylvania, so it'll also kill them off as well. So they were kind of hanging out on the siding and the soffit there. So we can see the nozzle of my gas-powered mist blower. And even though it looks like a fog, it's actually very small droplets of liquid, so it's just like a spray. But I feel like it has better coverage, especially when you have flying insects. So my intention is to cover as many insects as possible with it that are flying around, the hornets especially, and then just coat the area where the hornet's nest used to be. So we're all set. So we are the hornet, yellow jacket, bee, and wasp experts in southeastern and south central Pennsylvania. So if you have a hornet nest, it's time to call the professionals at Prudential Pest Solutions. You can call or text us at 484-401-4361.